The people in
New York, it's real. We stand in doorways. People gotta get in. You know what I mean? It's rated outside. I got the fresh Just Ice tea on. I know a lot of y'all don't know who Just Ice is. That's the original gangster of hip hop. You know what I mean? Got to keep everything official. OG Scott Free. Live at the place to be able to go get on the one in Tools right now. Spur Tree. That rhyme.
I'm always told that I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not beautiful. I'm not pretty. You know, it's never going to happen for you.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, it is very hurtful.
Yeah.
But it's what you take from it, right? And for me, I strongly believe in myself, and I believe in what I want to do.
It's wicked.
And I'm not going to let anything or anyone stop me from doing that. So luckily, I have that mindset where, you know, I refuse to let anyone stop me from, you know, pursuing my dreams and goals in life.
I hear you on that.
So when I moved to Canada, I just went after it relentlessly. And I was looking for agencies. All the agencies said no. It took me like 5 years until I got an agency. I came to New York. My first trip to New York, I was 15 years old. I didn't have, you know, any money to like stay too long in New York. I took a bus trip here. I stayed for the entire day, going to see all the agencies, and they all said no. They were like, hell no, get over it. You just might as well walk away from this because it's never going to happen. But I continued, I persevered, right? And I just wouldn't let it get to me. So I went back home to Canada. I came back to New York again. And it was on my third trip to New York that I got signed, which was 5 years later.
Yeah.
And I got signed with one of the biggest agencies in the world, Elite. And it was pretty hard to get in that agency as well. But
how did they discover you?
Actually, they didn't discover me. It was the scout for Elite. She fell in love with me. And
so
she just saw the vision.
The biggest agencies fell in love. No, the other small
scout.
ones. The scout did.
The scout from the biggest agency fell in love with me. Yeah. But she had to convince the owner to take me on. And he was like, no way.
Yeah.
And she basically put her job on the line for me. Oh. And he gave me 3 months and gave her 3 months.
My small story is that I was lucky enough to be born in New York, grow up in the projects, go to public school in Brooklyn, have a father as a cab driver, and just be allowed total, absolute freedom to be anything I wanted in New York City in my lifetime.
That's amazing.
That's my small story.
Yeah,
rapping is really big.
Yeah.
So big. I'm obsessed with rapping. So anytime I get a chance to rap, I do it.
Oh, really?
Our small story is Georgia, a family-owned business that my sister-in-law, Kiara Elozi, and I started about 2 years ago.
What was inspiration? Were you? I know you both lovely, both always smell lovely, always have great style, but everyone has that. So what was the inspiration to work with your sisters and work together and create a brand?
The inspiration, well, we chose each other because we liked what the other person was doing previous to this. And each person brought an amazing skill set. I think she brought an amazing skill set to the table. So did she. But, you know, it was kind of like the inspiration behind Georgia really was from a documentary that's on YouTube, and it's about the history of black hair care. And it talked about how it took the customer or the viewer from Madam C.J. Walker all the way up to the present. Madam C.J. Walker was a black woman in Harlem who made $1 million from hair relaxers. And so they looked at the documentary, looked at the history of black hair care from Madam C.J. Walker to now. It used to be black-owned industry. It used to be a mom-and-pop-owned industry. And the big shots got involved. They realized how lucrative it was, and the corporations started buying in, and other organizations and smaller groups started buying in, and we lost it. You know.
We lost what? We lost...
Blacks stopped owning the majority of the black hair care industry. And so when Kiara and I looked at that and talked about it, not only did we see this customer who's like so happy to buy product, so eager to buy product, is constantly looking for the best shampoo, the best conditioner, the best relaxer. So there was a customer there, but the industry wasn't really tuned into that customer.
I'm working on a couple of books, actually. One of them is on Jay-Z.
Okay.
It's called God MC.
Okay.
And the other one is called Clout, New York, which is on the currency that defines New York, which is clout.
Okay.
So it's sort of looking at New York through the prism of what really makes New York tick, so to speak, and sort of covering a who's who, people who embody that
Is it through what makes New York tick through a hip hop perspective? Because the people you mentioned, I'm saying.
For sure.
Is that the filter you're using?
I mean, the book on New York is very comprehensive. It covers Marc Jacobs as it covers a taxi driver. It covers a stripper from the Bronx as it covers a minister or a major Wall Street broker. So really, I think New York currency is really about how you move versus, the wider establishment sort of barometer of judgment. You know what I mean? Like, it's really about how you move. It's internal. Like, someone from the Bronx or Brownsville could go to
Wicked story.
A Louis Vuitton party and get in because of how you move. You can't do that in England or in LA because England is so aristocratic and feudal by definition.
Okay.
And LA is so up on Hollywood's dick.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it defines the...
You've been an entrepreneur for how long? You've been on work for yourself forever or what?
No, I mean, I'd say for the last sort of 5 years strongly in terms of, like going hard. I've always done, things on the side. And being an entrepreneur is very much a part of you. You're either that or you're not. So if you're an entrepreneur, remember at 9 selling oranges or lemonade. You know what I mean? Like, you always done it in some capacity.
Yeah.
But in a sort of a more fluid, concrete sense, I would say the last sort of half a decade.
Hey, I'm Beans. This is my small story. Basically, I was, from White Plains. Started out basically trying to be a DJ, right? But I couldn't afford the equipment when I was like 17. But I was also an artist. I used to do a lot of T-shirt stuff at Black Expo, and I entered a contest where like you could win this DVD to learn how to scratch. So I won it, and my brother was like, "Yo, that's fate right there." It was Spinderella and Red Alert trying to teach you how to scratch on a
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I tried to get into it. I tried to get into music that way, but I couldn't afford the equipment. So my man was like, "Yo, you're a little bit more creative than that. Why don't you just start writing?" So I just started writing, and it was a little cheaper. So then what happened was then I was working with like people in White Plains. Like I was in this group called Treaded Measures, and I got introduced to the poetry scene through this girl. It's always a girl.
Yeah.
So she.
Hey, dude. How you doing, man?
Hey, bro.
Good.
Okay, the story behind the indoor park is that after 14 years of New York winters, I just wanted to have a park because I own the space and it feels like a public space, and I just thought it would be a really cool getaway for. It's sort of like an adult playground, but I never imagined how many kids would come in here and how many mothers.
Yeah.
And just how it's turned into a real park.
Yeah. I had my first child in March, dude. That's why I had to run in.
Me too. April.
March. Hey, dude, congratulations. Congratulations, man. Thank you.
I was just telling him.
He was just telling me. He just said it.
Hey, how you doing? So this inspiration, this is kind of partly inspired by where you are in your
I'm
life.
just thinking that next year I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to have a little kid who's probably 8-9 months old, and he's going to run around in the park. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully he'll be running. At least he'll be crawling.
What are some of the other things you've done for space?
Well, the idea behind the space is to be a sort of a lab for ideas. So we've had all kinds of stuff. We had a skate bowl in here that we did with Quicksilver. We had a World Cup. We had a stadium in here and a mini soccer field and a PlayStation, gaming room and a cafe. We've had all kinds of cool events. We had a touristic office for Amsterdam and 4 other cities in Europe for like 4 days. We've had some really amazing experiential marketing pop-up stores. People call them pop-up stores, but sometimes they're stores selling something, and sometimes they're selling an idea. And this is selling an idea.
What's been the best response of all the different?
This is probably the most popular event that I've seen. We probably had about 20,000 people come through here in the past week.
This is amazing, dude.
And they just walk in and people have the same reaction. This is so cool.
All right. My story is I'm Kevin Green, founder and CEO of Uplifting Men 2 Incorporated. We are a not-for-profit 501c corporation. What Uplifting Men is about is helping real men and real women do real things.
Gotcha.
We accept brothers and sisters that's freshly out of incarceration, from out of the homeless shelters, rebuilding their lives. We put them in brand new houses. Mm-hmm. We enroll them in substance abuse groups. We enroll them in job training. We assist them with employment. And our ultimate goal is to place them into permanent housing. We was just visited by New York City Division of Human Rights. And they visited 50 other facilities that try to do or similar to do the things that we're doing. And we was ranked #1 in the quality of services that we provide for the clients and the quality of living that we provide for the clients. The facilities are all clean. The clients keep them clean. They're happy here.
So what does Uplifting Men mean to you? What is how would you define it?
Uplifting Men means a second chance to help you get your life back on track.
The New York City's homeless population is really a problem.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, homelessness is designed to never end. Because you will raise the prices of housing. How can you place these people in affordable housing when they can't get a job or have the skills to train them so they can afford to get an apartment? So it's a game that the city plays with the homeless, with raising the numbers, lowering the numbers, not giving accurate count. But then, as someone that worked in the shelter system, I saw firsthand what goes on in the shelter system. We're in East New York, Brooklyn, on the corner of Pickett and Miller.
Okay.
At Uplifting Men 2.
My small story is this one. Yeah, you can see over here, we are right outside Farinella Bakery, 90 Wall Street, right off Broadway. We are downtown Manhattan. This is an Italian bakery, and definitely I come right from Italy.
Where are you from? Where part of Italy are you from?
I'm from Napoli, actually. Naples. It's one of the best cities in Italy. It's maybe, actually for sure, the most craziest one. The one with more vitality, creativity, energy, music, culture, and madness.
What made you decide to open up down here?
Well, it's not that I really decided to open up. We should little bit go back and really see who am I?
Okay.
Who am I? KRS-One used to say. Well, like KRS, I'm an MC too.
Oh, really?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm actually one of the first Italian writer, graffiti artist, and I've been start painting walls at train back in the days at the end of the 80s, very end of the 80s, then beginning of the 90s. That's when the hip hop in Italy grew up. Okay. We were a foundation of Italian hip hop movement, and around that time I started a group called La Famiglia.
Okay.
That's La Famiglia, basically in Italy is like Run DMC, let's say. Okay. With all the major respect to Run DMC. But we did a couple of albums that have been always classic in Italian hip hop discography. So started from graffiti to hip hop to MCing, producing other artists, starting a label, started doing music video clip, a lot of big.
It's an amazing story. I had no idea.
Yeah, this is my short story.
Yeah, really, it's amazing.
Small story.
It's amazing.